Shri Vishnu Sahasranama, name 833, Sapta-vahana. The two previous names were Sapta-jihva and Sapta-idha. Now we have another Sapta. Sapta means 7. Although this name, unlike the previous two names, is not at least in its primary explanations, or most of the explanations, is not connected to fire, as were the previous ones. We see in Vishnu Sahasranama, there are several sets of names, or names with the same beginning, relating to numbers. There are 9 chaturs. Chatur refers to 4, the number 4 being used as an adjective. So we have in Vishnu Sahasranama, Chaturatma, Chatur Asra, that we haven't come to that yet, that will come later. Chatur Bahu, Chatur Bhava, Chatur Bhuja, Chatur Dangstra, Chatur Gati, Chatur Moti, Chatur Vedavit, Chatur Vyuha. And we have 6 Sahasras. Sahasraksha, Sahasrangshu, Sahasrachi, Sahasrajit, Sahasramurdha, Sahasrapat. So this is Sapta-vahana, 7 vahanas. Vahana is a moderately well-known word. It means to carry, to flow, and is used to mean a common usage is that of a vehicle, such as an animal which is used as a vehicle, and it can be used as a chariot or even as a motor car in modern spoken Sanskrit. So he who propagates things that are in units of 7, or is carried in units of 7, or carried by 7 kinds of chariot, or who is supported by things that are 7 in number, is called Sapta-vahana. Both Parashara Bhatta and Sri Shankaracharya, they explain this name to mean that he has as his vehicle the sun, Surya Narayan being in the sun. He causes everything to move, but in his lila, in his pastimes, it is as if he is carried by the sun, and the sun himself is sitting on a chariot with 7 horses. And these 7 horses have the names of 7 prominent Vedic mantras, and these horses have the names of the presiding deities of these mantras. In the Vishnu Purana, it is stated the names of these mantras are given. These are not mantras; they're chandas, meters. That's the correct word. The meters are Gayatri, Cha Brihatyushnig, Jagati, Chushtup, Evacha, Anushtup, Panktir Ityuktash, Chandansi Harayo Ravehe. The 7 horses yoked to the sun god's chariot are named Gayatri, Brihati, Ushnik, Jagati, Chushtup, Anushtup, and Pankti. These are names of principal Vedic meters, and they also designate the 7 horses that carry the sun god's chariots. There are also these 7 meters, and they are connected with the 7 planetary systems, Bhu, Bhuva, Swa. These 7 mantras are also connected with the 7 planetary systems, beginning from the earth and going up. Bhu, Bhuva, Swa, Mahat, Jana, Tapa and Satyam. The Devatas, the divine beings who are associated with these mantras, because the Devatas in the upper worlds, they also have responsibilities. They're not, well, the principal among them, they have responsibilities. They're not simply enjoying themselves. So the Devatas associated with these mantras are Agni, fire, Vayu, air, Arka, the sun, Vagish, Brihaspati, who is connected with knowledge, Vedic knowledge, specifically Varuna, overseeing water, Indra, overseeing the heavenly worlds, and Vishvedeva. So these 7 devatas lead the sun in his course. So it's quite a procession. We have various devatas, and then we have the horses, and then we have the Valakilyas, the 60,000 sages who are facing the sun, praising him. And we have Aruna as the chariot driver. We have the chariot on which the sun god is there, and Krishna as Surya Narayana is carried along. So how does the sun chariot move? How does anything move? Everything moves by the desire of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and the advanced technology, far more advanced than anything even imaginable to present scientists on this tiny little earth, is powered largely by mantra. And therefore Sapta-vahana, who has 7 chariots. The chariots are driven, the chariot of the sun is driven along ultimately by mantra. And these mantras, they also reveal him. The Vedic mantras are for revealing him, especially the first one mentioned, Gayatri, as a prayer to the sun. It's called Gayatri mantra because it's in a particular meter called Gayatri. And there are various Gayatri mantras. The Savitri Gayatri mantra is that which is most common and well known, which is a prayer to the sun. The 7 mantras are vehicles that reveal him. They're ultimately meant for revealing him. We worship him, particularly all the advanced followers of the Vedic culture. They worship the sun 3 times a day by the Savitri, Gayatri mantra, and different interpretations or meanings are given on that. This Gayatri mantra ultimately reveals Radha Krishna. Surya Narayan, he's carried in the sun, he's in the center of the sun as its central force, and he reveals the mantras and they reveal him. Another commentator has given the meaning of the Sapta-vahana as he who supports the universe in the form of 7 suns. Now generally we understand that there's only one sun in the universe, but Sri Radha Krishna Shastri quotes from a Vedic text called Aruna Prashnam to state that there are 7 suns: Aroga, Braja, Patara, Patanga, Svanara, Jyotishiman, Vibhasa. And Aroga is the one that is generally seen and is generally referred to as the sun. But the other 6 are in different parts. There are 3 suns which sustain the lower part of the Meru mountain, and 3 shine on the upper part of Meru. And Bhagavan is called Sapta-vahana, Sri Radha Krishna Shastri states, since he supports all parts of the universe through these 7 vehicles, or the 7 suns. Each of the suns can be considered a vehicle. Then, another meaning given by Parashara Bhatta here, Parashara Bhatta states that he supports the 3 worlds through the 7 Vayu Mandalas, or regions of air. There are 7 regions of air. It's interesting that Parashara Bhatta gives this, because generally when there's any connection with discussion of Vayu, we expect that to come from the Madhva Sampradaya, who are very much aware of and propagating the importance of Vayu as Jivotama, as commonly stated by followers of the Madhva Sampradaya. Hari Sarvotama, Hari, Vishnu, is above all, and among all the jivas, Vayu Jivotama. Vayu is supreme. Of course, Parashara Bhatta chronologically came before Madhva, and he gave this meaning that he protects the universe. Vishnu protects the universe through 7 regions of prana shakti, or vital airs. So in this way there are various regions which are predominated by different kinds of air. A sub-commentator, Professor A. Srinivas Raghavan, describes these 7 regions of air in the 3 worlds as avaha, pravaha, sangvaha, udvaha, vivaha, parivaha, and paravaha. Vayu, air, gets his strength and his life breath. Vayu is the life air of the universe, but he gets his life air from Vishnu, who is the supporter of all the worlds in the form of the 7 regions of air. So this name has, considering this name, Sapta-vahana, in this way, it has similarities with the name of Vishnu, Vayu-vahana, which has already been discussed, and which again will be discussed in Vishnu Sahasranama as we go forward. Here's an interesting one given by Sri Shankaracharya, who quotes from Shastra quotes from the Shruti to state that Lord Vishnu has a horse who is called Sapta. So therefore he's called Sapta-vahana. He's commonly known as, for instance, Garuda-vahana. Garuda is famous as the foremost of the carriers of Lord Vishnu, but he also has a horse named Sapta. So therefore the name Sapta-vahana is applicable in relation to this. Shankara quotes from the Rig Samhita. It's pristine Shruti. Ekoshva Vahati Sapta Nama. It's also in the Taittiriya Aranyaka. So very clear. He has one horse who carries him, and the name is Sapta. Of course, Lord Vishnu, Lord Krishna, as we know from Srimad Bhagavatam, has various carriers, and Sri Krishna Datta Bharadvaj quotes Srimad Bhagavatam to give the 4 names of the horses who pulled Krishna's chariot. The 4 names, they're given in the section very near the end of the 10th canto of Bhagavatam, when Krishna and Arjuna, they travel beyond the universe to the abode of Mahavishnu. So the name of Krishna's horses are given there as Shaibha, Sugriva, Megha, and Pushpa. So there are 4, and then the chariot itself is a vehicle for the Lord. Garuda is a vehicle for the Lord. And also we find in Ramayana, at some point, Bhikshu rupam parityaja vanara rupam asitaha prishtham maropya tau viro jagama kapi kunjara. So it's described that Hanuman, when he first met Lord Rama, he first appeared as a Brahmana, but then he gave up that. He had to carry the 2 heroes, Ram and Lakshman, to the place in the forest where Vali was hiding. So giving up, this verse says, Bhikshu rupam parityaja vanara rupam astitaha. Giving up his form as a Brahmana and reverting to his original form as a Vanara or a monkey. Hanuman lifted up those 2 heroes onto his back, means onto his shoulder, and carried them. Kapikunjara, he is a monkey, but in power he's just like an elephant. So there we have the 4 horses, the chariot makes 5, Garuda makes 6, and Hanuman makes 7 of the prominent carriers of Lord Vishnu. Sri Radha Krishna Shastri also brings out the point in another understanding of what Sapta-vahana can mean. He protects different living beings, especially human beings, and this is applicable to, through facilities that he has provided in units of 7. 7 types of fluid in the body, 7 holes in the face, sense organs. Of course, there are so many little pores, but 7 principles, holes in the face, which act as sense organs, and then there are the 7 objects of the sense organs. So the 7 dhatus, or essential ingredients, rasa, shringa, mangsa, meda, asti, majja, shuklani dhatavaha, which in English is chyle, blood, flesh, fat, bone, marrow, and semen. So Lord Vishnu supports these the body, or in that sense, carries the body with these 7 essential ingredients. Therefore he can be called Sapta-vahana, and similarly, 2 eyes, 2 nostrils, 2 ears, and the mouth are 7 holes by which the life energy is carried in and out of these holes, and thus the Lord supports these life through these 7 vehicles, therefore he's called Sapta-vahana. And these 7 openings, they interact with these sense objects. They act to perceive the sense objects. Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, Shabda, Sparsha. The 5 principal objects of the senses are seeing, tasting, smelling, hearing, and touching. So these, Radha Krishna Shastri, looking back to the previous name, Sapta Jiva and Saptaida, says that these sight, touch, taste, smell, form and sound, they are like fuel for the tongues, which are the 7 apertures on the face of the body. And therefore Sapta-vahana. And he's not simply extrapolating here, but he gives evidence from the Mundakopanishad as follows. Sapta prana prabhavanti tasmat saptarshihi samidha sapta homaha saptame loka yeshu charanti prana guhashaya nihita sapta. This passage from the Mundakopanishad can be translated in various ways. A few translations are given here from the Akshara Purush. This very term Akshara Purush could be explained in volumes of books. Practically the whole Srimad Bhagavatam is explaining Akshara, the beginning and the end of everything, or he who encompasses everything. The person who encompasses everything. From the Akshara Purush, that means Vishnu, emerge the 7 sense organs, the 7 fires, the sacrificial fuel, and the 7 flames, and the 7 worlds in which we move the sense organs that are deposited by the Creator in groups of 7 and 7. So bringing all these groups of 7 together, Mundakopanishad points to this name, Sapta-vahana. Another translation, from him emerge the 7 sense organs, the 7 flames, the 7 kinds of fuel, the 7 oblations. And these seats where move the sense organs that sleep in the cavity, having been deposited by God in groups of 7. Sleep in the cavity, that's another big, huge topic, discussing the Hridakash, the space within the heart as described in Chandogya Upanishad, Dahana Vidya section. Again, this is high-level, esoteric, Vedic knowledge of the workings of the universe on subtle levels. Another translation of this Mundakopanishad verse. The Upanishads, they are not very easy always to understand because paroksha vada rishyo paroksham cha nama priyaha. Krishna states that the rishis, they speak in roundabout ways, and I also like that, and especially the Upanishads. They are not composed in such a way that their meaning is very obvious simply to linguists, people who study Sanskrit, but it requires spiritual insight, which is given by the Guru. There are 11 principal Upanishads, of which Shvetashvatara is listed as the 11th. And we have within those Upanishads all kinds of oblique teachings. How can that be understood? The very last verse of the last of the 11 principal Upanishads, Shvetashvatara, states, Yasya Devi Paraveda Yata Deve Tata Guru Tasyaite Katita Hayata Prakashante Mahatmanaha. You want to understand all this? Then Shvetashvatara says, to persons who have faith in the Guru and same level of faith in the Supreme Lord, to them all the meanings are revealed. So it's not simply by linguistics. One more translation, different scholars have tried to extract the meaning of this passage from Mundaka Upanishad and put it in English. One more translation. The 7 sense organs are located in the head, the 2 eyes, the 2 nostrils, the 2 ears and the mouth. The 7 flames are the means of illumination of the objects of these sense organs. The Sapta Samidha, that means the 7 kinds of fuel, are the 7 objects of these sense organs, since the sense organs are kindled by these objects. So you can see how this obtuse section from Mundaka Upanishad explains Sapta Jiva, Saptaida, and Sapta-vahana, brings them all together. Baladev Vidyabhushan gives a completely different meaning to that of other known or prominent commentators. He says that Vishnu is the one who brings, vahana is a vehicle which brings things, he who brings prosperity to the 7 worlds. So this is a function of Vishnu as the maintainer and overseer of the world. He brings prosperity to the worlds. And although it hasn't been elaborated here, but such an explanation, it hasn't been elaborated by any of the principal commentators, but a similar explanation could then be given to, he brings to the 7 rishis their desired aim. The rishis desire knowledge, and the rishis, they also oversee the universe. They're sub-overseers. They want to bring peacefulness, calmness, specifically dharma to the universe. And so many 7s can be cited. He brings prosperity to the 7 worlds. That again means the upper planetary systems. So groups of 7 can be analyzed, and in this way the meaning of Sapta-vahana can be expanded. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Dante nidhaya chunakang padayo nipatikrit vacha karakushatam etadaham ravime. Hey sadhava sakala eva vihaya durad. Gauranga chandra charane kurutanuraka. Parivadatu jano yata tatava nanamukarona vayang vichari yamaha. Hari rasamadira madati matta bhuvi vinutama yatama nirvishama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.